Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by my co-host, Sean Rigsby. We got a special show tonight for y'all, man. We had. He'll be back. All right, he's back. We got a full panel. We got a whole show. We got the cast from an entire episode of Master Distiller on here tonight. It's amazing. I'm excited about this. We're gonna hear the dirt on Sean. Hopefully they got a good one, and we don't want to learn too much about him. We already know enough. But anyways, welcome to the show, Mr. Moonshiner Scott. Welcome to the show, Mr. Thomas Williams. It's an honor and privilege to have you here tonight. So really look forward to hearing y'all talk.
It's just kind of what easy. If you want, I know Thomas isn't drinking anything because he's driving, but I don't know about the other two.
So what y'all drinking on? We can't hear Sean. His mic's not on. So what y'all drinking on? I imagine Thomas ain't drinking on nothing. He's in the car, so we're keeping it legal. Thomas drinking on water. Anybody listening? Thomas is drinking water tonight. Yeah, see? Boom, called that. Oh, Scott, man, what are you drinking on over there?
Oh, I'm drinking a little mix up.
Mm-hmm. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, I hear you a little better now.
A little better.
Okay.
Oh, block your face. So I'm drinking on some apple brandy I got from my buddy at Hillbilly Jam. Brandy's got a special place in my heart. I will say that I have tried our two guests something they make, and I was really really pleased with. I tried Scott's peanut butter. Oh my god. Oh my god, man! Let me get some more of that. I believe what was it last year at Beattyville? I brought the jar back for Sean, and I had it, and I kept being like, "Bro, if you don't get this jar, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to drink this whole jar, and you're going to have to, your old lady's going to be mad, but you come get it, man, or it's going to be gone." So, luckily for him, I didn't finish it off, and I was hoping that he'd have got a jar this year. I'm not sure if he did, but I'm sure if he did, he didn't share it because a lot of people are always like, "I gave Sean a jar for you," and I'm like, "Man, I never seen it."
Yeah. I know I sent 2 back for him a few weeks ago. So.
Oh yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, I got it. It's always I got it for you, but I'll never see it.
I'm missing out. I need a jar myself.
Yeah, see. So Mr. Thomas, man, I've tried your sweet potato vodka. Whoo! Now, Sean handed me that, and I'm like, bro, sweet potato vodka? I never had sweet potato vodka before. I like sweet potatoes. There ain't much I don't like. My only vendetta I have in food is cucumbers. I'll fight a cucumber. So other than that, man, it'll go down. And man, I was really surprised at the vodka the sweet potato finish on that. And I'm really intrigued to hear how you make that. So. But anyways, I've talked enough. We're gonna let y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us about yourselves, and y'all can decide who goes first.
I'll let you go first, Scott.
All right, Scott Moore, live near Chattanooga, Tennessee, now, and on a houseboat. So
Nice.
decided to live a little bit simpler, and I guess I've been doing it probably almost 10 years now. Kind of got into it as a hobby, and then kind of expanded from there. And just was fortunate enough to get on the show with these guys, and have made some great friends through the whole process.
Nice. So, what was the first still you owned?
It was a 7-gallon copper still.
Nice. Pot thumper worm.
Yes.
Straight arm. Nice.
Yep. So yeah, it was good. Just enough to get you wanting more.
Oh yeah, 7.5. You're pulling off just enough to satisfy yourself, and maybe the wife if she likes it, or a buddy where you're like, dude, you gotta try this, and especially when you start mixing And like I know I've tried what you mix. So when you start mixing and making flavors, it goes a lot quicker than you ever would have imagined. And you end up with a lot more, but it definitely goes a lot quicker when you start getting into the flavors and all that. So Thomas, would you like to tell us about yourself a little bit?
Of course. So Thomas Williams, I really got my start on the show. Like during filming, I don't even think I had started really getting into the nitty gritty of it. So very new to the game, but let's see, as you know, we do the sweet potato vodka, gin, and then we'll have a bourbon out next year. But first still that I use is actually almost identical to what I built myself on the show, which is kind of the reason I built it.
Yeah, I remember that in your episode. Like, I've seen y'all's episode a little more than everybody else's, just because I like to watch it so I could give Sean shit about shit that he did wrong or whatever, stuff like that. Normal shit. But
yeah.
So you're talking plates. You're talking pot plates, and just straight to the condenser. Because I remember on the show that's the one that you chose to build was with plates. I love plates. They have their thing.
Oh yeah, and I think that was probably 15 or 20 gallons. I don't know exactly, but that's how big the one that I have at home.
Now, do you have heritage in it? You have heritage, right? Like, no.
There's a heritage to it, but I didn't know there was a heritage to it until down the road. So I don't have any old recipes I can go off of. It was kind of one of those, not secrets, but just something that wasn't talked about.
You hear that quite frequently, now when my kids get older or this generation gets older, they'll be like, yeah, my dad made moonshine. We're going to make videos. He was on TV and shit. Sean's kids, like, my dad was on TV. Like, we talked about it. It's all we talked about. They show me all the time. So it's a lot different, to think about how, when I had no heritage in it, but if that's what it was when you were a kid, then you would have never known because your parents didn't talk about it and made sure you didn't know about it unless you took over as you got older. So it's just going to be so much different in the steps of, how my kids and my grandkids are going to talk about things that I've done, or, Sean's kids are going to talk about him. It ain't going to be like if somebody asks him if they're making moonshine, if they've ever talked about it, it's going to be like, man, I grew up around it, it's here and there and there. So it's different to think about. So
very different world.
Oh yeah.
So what was your first? The first thing you ever found? What was that?
So what was the first thing you guys ever fermented? Is what Sean's asking.
What was the first? Oh goodness. For me personally, it was a big pot full of sweet potatoes. I think that was the very first thing.
Jumped in feet first, like sweet potatoes.
I did a George Washington rock.
Y'all come out swinging, man. Nice.
Hey, go big or go home.
If you're gonna do it,
right,
you gotta
man.
do it.
That's the way I like to hear that. A lot of people, it's like I did corn sugar to start out. I did corn sugar to start out. It's like, man, sweet potatoes. Like,
I was on a mission. I had a specific goal I had to get.
Amazing, man. Amazing. So when you first did the sweet potatoes, what was straining them a bear? Like when you went to strain the potatoes out, like what was you like? Damn, man, I don't know about.
No,
this.
It was on the show.
Yeah, very difficult. On the show, I'm thinking my process has definitely evolved, but yeah, no, it lots of pots and lots of strainers and many hours of tears. But we actually distill with whole. I don't do any straining before my stripping runs, but Now my cooking process, I mashed it up enough to where I don't have to do much straining anyway.
Yeah, nice. Potatoes, man. It's if you ain't never done potatoes, do them. Do them and come back and tell us what you think. Unless you got a jacketed still, man, you're in for a treat. If you're trying to run old school like we do, just in a pot with clean on fire or heating elements, like go on ahead and make you a potato vodka and let us know. Come on back, and I love to hear your story.
Exactly.
It's definitely a learning experience. But that's really cool. You had something that you wanted to do, and I see Peaches getting handled in the background over Sean's shoulder. She got into your schnapps again, didn't she, Sean? Well, that's really cool, man. I really like to hear that. Now, on your first run, Scott, any issues, any problems with your very first run?
Yeah, the hardest part is learning how to paste everything well.
Nice.
That's because mine was old school. Everything had to be pasted, so you really learn a lot with that, and figuring that part out the right way to make sure you get everything pasted up right.
I got a paste style still, paste thumper, paste still. I know what you're talking about. You better get it right.
Oh yeah,
get it right or lose alcohol. But it's definitely a cool way. It's definitely a cool way to run.
And the other thing is always check, and this happened on a bigger still, but make sure if it's set for a little while to check all the pipes to make sure no spiders or things build anything in there. Because I made a run and had it pasted and it kept leaking. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And it just kept on and kept on. And I was like, damn it. So I got it down there and I pasted the hell out of it. Next thing I know, the damn cap blew off. And I'm like, what's going on? I found out later that it's clogged up.
How'd you clog it up?
Huh? A spider or something had built something in there.
Oh, up in your
one of my arms. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was a fun experience.
Like a spider about took you out, huh?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Thank God I was standing about 15 feet away when it blew.
Did you get a fireball off of it?
No, it's just the liquid.
Okay, gotcha.
The liquid came out.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I got taken out by a spider, man.
Yep.
That's wild. So in case nobody knows what I was referring to earlier, Thomas and Scott was on the same episode of Master Distiller with Sean. So they all three competed against each other. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. You'll be glad you did. It's a good one. It's one of my favorite ones. So, and it ain't because Sean's in it. That's in spite of him. So, but anyways,
see if you can count the sweat coming off Sean the first run.
Is that when he was hammered? Is that when he was hammered drunk? Oh yeah, you could see it. Like he was green. Like he was green. Like he pale. He looked like powder.
It was so hot there, but he was sweating bullets.
Oh, I bet. Like, I couldn't imagine. I'd have been done. Like, hey, I'm taking myself out of the show. I gotta go. I gotta go, man.
It was terrible, man. I just wanted to sit down and be done.
So y'all,
I couldn't imagine being hungover on top of that.
So y'all weren't like that? Like y'all didn't get super drunk the night before filming and come in hungover?
I had a few. I wasn't on Sean's level.
Nice. Hey, sometimes
many people were that night.
Sometimes you gotta let it go,
Yeah.
I
was like, well,
I waited.
First day's like, then we'll figure everything out after that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
So you're already there for the mash and everything. It was comfortable. It was go time.
Right.
So he had already been there. You mashed. It's been 4 or 5 days, and then you get ready to go in the run, and it's like, hey, you know what? We're all family now. It's time to get it. It's turn up. We're turning up tonight.
That's right. That dang fire pit outside was about the death of all of us.
A lot of people say that. I've heard that from quite a few people that fire pit's the devil.
Oh yeah.
So hold on. Didn't Sean say that? Didn't you say Scott tapped you on the arm and it was like, "Hey man, we got to be at filming at 6 o'clock in the morning."
Oh yeah.
That was Scott.
I try to take care of
Down
him.
the hallway.
Yeah.
That
Was
was
you
the
bouncing
widest
off the
hallway I've
walls?
ever seen in my life.
It took you longer to bounce from wall to wall, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Down it. Well, I took a country mile on the way down.
Stop by the vending machine and everything else. I get it. I get it. So, that's awesome. All right. So to rewind a little bit, how did you get on Master Distiller? Did you apply? Did they call you, Thomas?
So one of the casting producers reached out to me via Instagram and then encouraged me to apply, and kind of it went from there.
Awesome. So you have, I imagine you have an Instagram. If you want to plug it, go ahead. Feel free to.
I'll plug the distillery, Delta Dirt Distillery.
My man.
You can follow there, or you can follow me at TWilly3.
That's nice.
But the funny part is, I think I had maybe posted one or two things about even being a distiller, and from that is how she found me.
That's all it takes sometimes, you know. Scott, did you apply or?
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of some friends of mine who tried my stuff. It's like, man, sent me a link, said you need to apply for this, and
probably that peanut butter.
So I applied and got a call back and went through the interview process and got on there.
Nice. Now,
Swan must just dug a name out of a hat or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he paid some. He definitely greased some palms to get on there, or somebody owed him a favor because he helped him hide something or somebody. I don't know. We're not going to ask questions. You know, it's
right.
What happened. It is what it is. Anyway,
it worked out in the end for him.
That's right. So when you guys first, you're on there and you get there, you first met Sean. What'd you think of him when you first met him? Like,
I thought everybody was cool. I think everybody was a little kind of, trying to figure everybody out. Nervous.
Yeah.
So
one good night around the fire pit, and I'd imagine everybody becomes a little more friendly.
And you get to sit. I mean, the cool thing is we got to hang out between takes because of COVID, but we still got to sit around and talk, and I think that's where we really kind of got to know a lot about each other, is during that time in between the filming, just sitting around at the place and talking to each other and learning about each other.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, that was the coolest thing of the whole ordeal, is just getting to know everybody, you know, and not only that, but I mean, you make lifelong friends, and like Lorenzo, I didn't know shit about bourbon, and you get there and you hear Lorenzo start talking about bourbon.
Oh yeah, he's a walking encyclopedia.
Oh yeah, yep. So what was y'all's favorite thing?
On filming and stuff, or I guess just making it, seeing the end result, because you're kind of worried about, like, can this really happen in 4 hours? Can I really get what I want out of there? Is the mash really going to work? And to finally get a product out and to get one on the second round that the judges really liked, that was cool for me.
Yeah. Cool seeing how it's done, and cool seeing wait until air date. It's like, I'm also surprised at what the end result of this is. I was there, but also, how's it going to turn out?
Yeah. I think one of the things I wish they hadn't cut so much of our stuff out. We had some pretty good dialogue and stuff while we were making MASH and while we were making our runs, that I know it's for TV, but we had some pretty cool and funny moments that happened, and they cut out a lot of that.
They should have like unedited versions and let you watch hour long, 3 hour long episodes on Discovery Plus. Like, hey, put that on there, Discovery Plus, and I'll pay for Discovery Plus. So I'll watch them all.
Be seeing a lot of me looking like this.
Oh, I imagine. Right. So did anybody slide a bucket next to Sean? Like, this is you, buddy. I'm here for you.
Should have.
No, I didn't really know how bad he was until after the fact.
Same.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, he hit it pretty well,
nice.
other than the sweating part.
Handled it
Not
like
me. I'd have been laying
Man,
on
I'll
the
tell you,
floor.
it was so hot in there, man.
Oh yeah.
I worked
Yeah, I
in
don't know how you did it.
like a warehouse. What, like a warehouse, like a metal
Well,
barn.
it's Sugarland's new barrel house, I guess, that they built down there, but it wasn't finished all the way, and so they had the big fans going. But every time you started filming, they had to turn them off.
Right.
So when they were filming, because they were filming multiple episodes at one time, and so you'd be sitting back there just dying, just sweltering, while they were filming the other ones because the fans were off.
Not my favorite part.
No, for sure.
But so Thomas, talk about obviously you the head distiller at Delta Dirt, and where's that in Arkansas?
It is in Helena, Arkansas, and if you don't know where that is, it's because it's a small town right on the Mississippi. So if you know where Memphis is, you can get to Helena in about an hour from there. But yeah, so I kind of started this journey just being asked to figure out how to turn a sweet potato into a vodka, and I was in that journey when the show came about. So then I kind of took a detour, did the show, and came back, and I want to say a year and a half later, got that recipe figured out and kind of snowballed from there. So we're about 2.5 years into it now. We finally opened the distillery in April of 2021.
Sweet. So how much? Let me ask. I know y'all are asking questions, but
Hey, you go ahead, man.
How much did being on the show help you get your other stuff or develop what you're doing? Or did it?
Outside of even just the publicity, it helped me tremendously learning from like y'all, because like I told you, I was brand new to the game. I had no idea what I was doing. So even doing that was a huge leap for me to be able to learn from y'all. And that was kind of how I told myself was, I'm going to go on here and try to learn as much as I can to help what I'm trying to do. But the timing of it was pretty perfect. It aired in February of 2021, and then we opened in April. So the timing actually worked out pretty perfectly.
Heck yeah.
What was your mash bill on the show, Thomas?
The mash bill, I'm trying to think what it even back then.
I think you had
know sweet potato and corn, yeah. So
Yes.
that's the similar recipe to what I have now.
Mm-hmm.
It's sweet potatoes and corn for the vodka you guys have tried, but the ratios are a little bit different now. And the process, of course, is a whole lot different.
Yeah, I still haven't got my bottle yet.
I got to try. I got to try. That was it. So, but did the time frame that you had to mash in give you either of you any issues in that mash time?
Not really, since I had to kind of do a lot of legwork for it anyway. I don't think it was too stressful.
Mm-hmm. No, mine ended up mashing in fine. It was better than I anticipated. I was really worried about the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And how hot that building was getting. I was worried about the yeast down the road. Like if it got too hot in there, if it's gonna mess something up. Because it was hot. In there. So that but it ended up being okay.
So now you guys both converted. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Your question's a lot better than mine. I was just going to bust your balls, so go ahead.
What'd you say?
I was going to say, you guys both converted your starches, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a little bit of sugar. I didn't have as much sugar as you brought.
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
I'm just getting it out of the way.
You read my mind, Scott.
There wasn't any sugar left in the stores in Ohio when he got there.
I know. I couldn't find any.
I was like, holy cow.
I was going to say,
man, I didn't know
for how much sugar he brought. It was making alcohol, huh? Ain't that right,
there's,
Sean?
there's quite a bit.
It's gonna make alcohol one way or another.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's amazing. I thought of it and it just spread to y'all.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
So, do you guys do any like flavored liquor out there, Thomas, or is it just like cocktails and stuff like that?
So I haven't gotten into the flavors, just the vodka. Have a gin that's out now, but haven't really done any kind of one-off flavors for the bar. Mostly just cocktails, but I'm starting to play with that a little bit more now that I have a little bit more time. Since I'm not the only one doing the distilling work, I can play around with some other stuff.
When you're running that gin, are you running it through plates and then a basket?
Yep.
You run through your plates and then a basket.
Yep.
And what's your base on that bill?
So it's not sweet potato base. It's a corn and wheat blend on that one.
Nice.
Ooh.
I like the wheats. So, and then your bourbon, how is that? Is that a bourbon that you guys made when you first came out and it's been aging? Is it something?
Yep.
Nice.
So it is something we've been aging since shortly after we opened up, which is a little bit later than we wanted to. But the sweet potato vodka took us in a different direction, so kind of had to regroup and take some time to get that launched. So, yeah, we're looking at early 2024 for a release date on that.
Nice.
Hell yeah. So, have you guys talked about expanding any? I seen you guys just got that new bottle line.
Yeah, so now that is in, not quite functional just yet, waiting to fully calibrate it and test it, but then we can ramp up these launches in different states. Right now I'm looking at Atlanta and Chicago.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, what about go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So long time coming. Sean finally got his.
Yeah,
from
Sugarland. How did that launch go? Because
that was
out
cool.
of town.
I am disappointed it wasn't pink though. I really wanted it to be pink.
Me too.
It almost was. It almost was.
Yeah. Yeah, you go ahead and tell the story if you want there, Scott.
I won't keep that from.
No, go ahead.
About
so anyway, we were running at Sugarlands and filled up the gin basket, and it was running and Greg's like, hey, turn the steam up half a turn. So thanks, Steven or whoever reached over and turned it up, and when it did, it started blowing the juices from the gin basket over. It was coming out pink, man. I mean, pink. And the dude from Sugarlands, he's just got his phone out and just videotaping it and everything. Going. And as soon as we get to Beattyville, who did you tell? Or you come up to me and you're like, "What's up?"
Who was it?
Travis.
Oh, it's Kenneth, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Yep. And he comes. What's going on, Travis? Like, oh man.
I had to.
Like, man, I puked it. I know.
Is that the first time you've ever had a still puke on you?
Actually, it is. It was, yeah.
Figures, right? Figures, right? Figures.
Of course.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you make some mixed flavors?
I do. I'm working. I'm hoping, hoping some things are going to work out here soon in the near future that I can start getting it out to people in the stores.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
I'll be hopefully working with, I'm going to be working with Chuck at Dalton Distillery down in Dalton, Georgia, which you guys know him. I think y'all had him on here a while back.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Great
we had his son.
Yep. Him and Trey, they're awesome. I don't know if any of y'all ever did, but got to, I had good fortune to meet his father. And he's awesome. He could tell some great stories about, when he did stuff and everything. And but Chuck's taking it on from him, and running it. They're getting stuff out, so hopefully I can be a part of that process with them and get it out here in Tennessee and even in Georgia.
Oh yeah,
that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Good luck. Let us know.
I will.
Do you know what flavors you're pushing for?
The first 5 that we talked about was is cotton candy, orange creamsicle, mango habanero, pineapple jalapeno, and then the clear that I made for the show.
Nice.
love it.
Did I hear peanut butter in that?
No, I tried.
I didn't hear no peanut butter. I was wondering, like, maybe you should have let them try that. Like, look, just try this. And
they did, but they went for the other ones.
No,
that'll be down the road. Hopefully, I can get it convinced to get that one in there.
The mango habanero. Did I try? I think I tried that in Beattyville one year.
May have.
If it's maybe, like, I don't remember names, but I remember liquor. So
good or bad, right?
You damn right. So
well, I've been to all the Beattyville ones, so it may have been.
Yeah, I've seen you there like the past 3 years, I think. So it's good times.
So,
but so what's your guys' take on yeast? Are you guys real like yeast snobs, or I mean, some people use bread yeast, some people use turbo yeast. Some people use daddy or whatever it is.
Yeah, I usually have used. I've used bread yeast and stuff. I like this. I like the daddy of the Distillery's yeast. I've had good success with that. Now for the show, I used a vodka turbo yeast because I was worried about the time frame on how if it would get if I could get enough out of it in time, and it ended up working well. I don't use turbo yeast typically. But just for that, I did.
And did you like the flavor that turbo yeast put off? Was it much different than normal?
It really wasn't that much different. It turned out good. I mean, Sean tried. I mean, all those guys tried it. It turned out good.
Nice.
I was skeptical. I was like, man, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be, it's gonna screw my mash up because I've really never used it. Because how we're doing it. So I was really skeptical. I didn't think it would turn out well, but it ended up turning out better than I anticipated.
Nice.
Yep, that was. I don't remember you doing that. But I feel like when we were standing in that room, we're all looking back and trying to get the temperatures right. That was the stressful time.
Oh yeah.
For me. Because, I went and dumped in, 90 pounds of sugar. Not really.
It was 150. Okay, 80, don't lie.
It's 80. Real.
85 and a half, huh?
80 is what I took.
I don't know. Your math is wrong. I counted like 175 pounds of bags on that table behind you. They kept growing, too. Every time they shot back, there was more bags on the table. I didn't understand where they were coming from. I figured he was stealing y'all sugar, like hoarding all the sugar for himself. But what kind of yeast do you like to use, Thomas?
I am not picky. I don't know the brand name on it, but it's just a distiller's yeast that is very, what do you call it? Quite resistant. But I'm blanking on the term for it, but not a turbo and definitely not a bread yeast. But I think I did like Scott and I did turbo on the show as well.
Use turbo on the show. I imagine wondering how am I going to ferment in 4 or 5 because we're never put on a time strain. Like
no. Hey. Usually I'm like I go out. I know when it's done. I don't. I'm old school. I don't check all the other stuff. I know when it's ready to go.
Yeah, you get it. It tells you when it's ready. It's like the old lady. She tells you when you're ready. Yep. So and that's how it is. And so I could see, like for 4 or 5 days, I'd be a nervous wreck. Exactly. I'd be a nervous wreck. I'd be wondering about my mash, and it'd be like a lost dog that ran away. I'd just be thinking about it the whole time, wondering until I got to see it.
Oh yeah. And what was even worse is, I coach high school football too, so I had to leave after we matched it and go home. So my stuff's sitting there like, with nobody around, nobody watching it, nothing. So I'm coming back blind.
Sean's in there throwing the potassium sorbate in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little sorbate on here. Yeah, that's OT Scott.
Might have peeing in it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you hurt my feelings.
I am glad I took that rye paste up there with me, though.
Me too.
That was the big thing. We're running. Because they said bring everything you need. So I didn't know what the stills were going to be like when we got there. I didn't know. I'm used to pasting it, and so they, you had the stuff where you screwed everything down and clamped it, and I was like, well, what if we get a leak? Oh, it's not going to leak. It's not going to leak. And the steel builders did a good job building them, but like I'm sitting there all of a sudden, I'm like, holy cow! And then I think Thomas's started leaking.
Sure did
at one point. So I had to go. We pasted his. Like we're pasting all of them up.
Yeah.
I had a few issues. Yeah.
Those compression fittings, the first couple times you use them, they work just fine. But so many times you use them, they get warped and that. And, I imagine you guys aren't using any Teflon tape on your threads. And it's just like.
We didn't have any.
Yeah.
No, not there.
They're going to leak, man. So you better have your paste ready. Like,
yeah,
I don't care what.
Tighten them up. And I was like, dude, it ain't working.
You twerk them all you want, man. I don't care what kind of steel you're running. You should always have some paste on hand just so you could throw together real fast because you never know, especially when you're doing it backwoods style. You just never know where it's going to leak from. And it doesn't matter. You got tri-clamps or not. You just never know, man. Better to have it and not need it,
Absolutely.
And check your lines for spiders.
Yes.
It's better to have. I don't know about that much though. Like I see Sean up in a hotel making jellies. He's like, "Oh, Sean's making jelly in his bathtub."
Oh shit! So, Thomas, what made you guys decide to use sweet potatoes in your guys' vodka?
Because we have a family farm, grow a lot of sweet potatoes on it, so why not use that for something else? Of all things, vodka. But yeah, that's kind of what sparked the idea of the whole distillery, really.
Hey, get you a bottle of that sweet potato vodka. You'll be glad you did. Yeah. You don't lie. Like, get you a bottle of that sweet potato vodka, man. It's wild. Like, if you ever send Sean a jar or a bottle, send me one. He won't give it to me, but at least I know you sent it to him. Hey, Sean, if you ever make it down there, buy me one and give it to me a year afterwards. I'll be glad. So
here we go.
No matter what,
it'll make its way to you eventually.
That's all I care. As long as I get one taste out of it.
Who knows how full I was gonna say? It may or may not be full.
I'm cool with that. So no problems here. So what was y'all's biggest takeaway from being on the show and competing and getting your liquor judged by, I'm sure guys you've seen on TV respect. So
that's
a good question.
The fact that they liked it, like my second run, that they really liked it. But I guess still the biggest takeaway for me is the friends I made.
Man,
because we've hung out now. I've hung out with most all of them quite a bit, and that's been the coolest thing from it for me.
Lifelong, lifelong friendship, knowledge gained, and a lifelong friends. Like you can't beat it,
That's very well summed up.
And you in this community, you could gain that anytime, anywhere, whether you're on the internet, you go to a festival, you're going to meet somebody new, and they can instantly become a lifelong friend of yours just based off your love for moonshine and making alcohol. So, it's a great thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got friends all over the country now. So.
Yep. Well, and like me, you go to something like that, and if you're just sitting around the fire listening to two other people talk, you learn, like if you go down with a certain skill set, like Thomas, and he runs column stills and towers, at that time, I've never I'm looking at that thing like it's a freaking alien.
Yeah.
You know,
I was like, man,
I mean, but it's so cool.
And that's how I was looking at everyone else's. That was my comfort zone, and I'm like, I have no idea what y'all are doing with a thumper. I don't know.
And the things that you learned in just that short span of time about, everybody does something different, and it's just so amazing that the knowledge gained, and it's freely passed along. Like anyone asks you a question, like, bro, why are you doing that? Like that, or you could ask Scott, like, man, why are you doing it like that? And he'd gladly tell you, like, man, this is why I'm doing it like this. I do it for this reason, and not know, like, no, I can't tell you that.
Right.
I can't tell you. It's it's just like this is why I do it, man. And and maybe some of the things you learned from them, you took back into your distilling life, into opening your distillery, and maybe there's some things Sean and Scott have picked up from you that they're still using today. That's what it's all about. Knowledge gained and knowledge given.
Absolutely. Yep. That was kind of my introduction to how open and friendly and, hospitable the distiller moonshine world is. Like I said, that was me dipping my toes into meeting other people that did kind of what I was trying to do. Mm-hmm. So that was a great introduction, and I appreciate everyone. Y'all, my first introduction was I ran into Richard Landry in the elevator when I first checked into the hotel. So he gave me some words of advice as I was literally walking into the hotel.
Oh, yeah. He's good
glad
dude.
Steve wasn't giving you advice.
More so if he was, I don't know if I'd take it. Where's he at?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But so Thomas, what size still are you guys running at the distillery?
So we are currently on a 240 gallon still, but I don't think that'll last too long. I'm sure that'll be upgraded to at least 500 here in the next couple of years.
Is that jacketed?
Yes.
Are you running steam?
Yep.
Nice.
Steam, heated, and glycol chilled. So that my water issue I had on the show, not being cold enough, was very, very, very new to me.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I wondered how that was going to work because, prior to that, I've never used a shotgun. But I'll tell you what, man, those things actually, if you have enough cold water running through them things, man, you can knock down some steam.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I learned everything I needed about shotguns when I watched Sean throw a little old shotgun condenser on a 55-gallon drum through plates with a D flag. And I'm like, bro, that thing's going to blow steam. And there ain't no way that little ass shotgun's going to, we're going to push the hell out of that. And, man, we tried to push that thing as hard as we could, and we couldn't get it to blow steam. And I was amazed. And I'm like, bro, if you need a small space-saving area, man, a shotgun's the way. I mean, give me a worm. I'm a worm guy. But, a shotgun is the way to go if you got a lot and a little, you got a lot of liquor and a little bit of place. And so you can't go wrong with a shotgun, man.
Not at all.
So did you wind up using a D-flag on the show? I don't remember, Thomas.
I think I did. Yeah, I did. Because that's what I have. Yeah.
So do you, as you're running your guys's, do you run your D-flag the whole time throughout the run, or do you just run it real hard at first and then cut it back?
Yeah, so I actually have two. So I have two individual columns, one on top of each column. So I do run them both, and then I just dial the second one back. Basically, all of them at first, and then kind of dial it back and let it pass through the second one to actually get some liquid out. But yeah, so like I said, those are not new to me. That's kind of all I knew. I didn't realize there was a setup that didn't have that on top of it. I didn't know there was a, like I said, very narrow scope when I started.
I was thinking when we were coming there, I was like, well, what are we running? And they're like, well, 20-gallon pots. I'm like, okay. So I thought from seeing, the season one that it was going to be just right off the bat, you were going to have a vodka tower
right
on it. And I was like, man, I don't know nothing about these things. So hopefully I show up and someone will teach me.
Yeah, dude, I wasn't about to grab them parts for that thing. I was like, there ain't no way.
Hey, he was the first person to build, to use plates and grab that big old giant column.
No one wanted it. I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And,
they're like, what do you
I sure didn't. I
wasn't about to do that.
Man. I don't mind trying different things. That was a whole different comfort zone there.
I'll try a new yeast, but I ain't trying a new still.
Yeah. I was like, man, this thing don't even come with an instruction manual.
I don't blame you at all.
Just hoses, slinging everywhere. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, it ain't as bad as some of the stills that I've seen put together. I mean, they made shine, but it ain't as bad as some of the JJ the stills I've seen put together. But it doesn't matter how it's put together, man. I find it amazing. So
fascinating for sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But as far as your distillery, Thomas, you said you have someone else that's distilling now with you, or?
Yeah. So since our opening, it was, as you know, just me, but my brother has moved down. He was in Chicago. COVID hit. He moved down. So I taught him how to do what I do. So now I have a distiller number 2 to kind of take some of the pressure off.
There you go.
And I'm trying to teach my dad too, but
So what's it like working with family?
No comment on that one.
Next question. Got one. Finally got one. Next question. I knew that was coming.
No,
the next question is, are they watching?
Right. No. I'll show it to them later, the recording.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
no, it's fine. We, of course, butt heads as you would with your family when you're, Thanksgiving. Think about that 24/7. So, no, it works out. We get along most days.
How awesome. And you said you work with your father.
Yep.
Right.
So mom, dad, and my brother.
Yeah, it's definitely, it has its amazing moments for sure. Just being able to share what you love with your family.
Very rewarding. At the end of the day, we're doing it for each other. So it's kind of what gets us through
talking about that, your vodka has done pretty well in with awards and stuff, hasn't it?
It has. Over the last couple of years, it's raked up a few awards. 2-time San Francisco World Spirit Competition, double gold. Hoping for platinum next year. I'm trying to think what else. The American Craft Spirits Association, gold and best in class. This year was a finalist for best in class at the San Francisco World Spirit Competition. Among, I think it was 4 other vodkas. So pretty well for it to be so young on the market. I'm happy about that.
What's your do you have like a favorite project that you work on, or just a liquor, or?
Since I've got my brother, I've gotten to transition and do a lot more of the marketing and sales and PR and whatnot. But as far as like projects that I'm working on right now, I'm working on a ready-to-drink canned cocktail that I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Got some other things up my sleeve, but that's kind of the more immediate, exciting thing I got working on.
Okay, now is that something that can you just immediately? Well, not immediately, but like I know you have to have liquor licensing and stuff to just distribute. But like something like that easier to distribute than say vodka?
Not really, because since it is liquor based, you still have to follow the same liquor laws. So I can't just immediately jump out and be in grocery stores and whatnot. So it still falls in the same slow but steady growth. But with that one, it might be a little bit easier since it'll be canned off-site. I can kind of send the product, have it canned, and sent back to me.
Yeah. You said you're in Arkansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's it like dealing with the state there? Because like here in Ohio, it's it's state control and it's a bear.
Not quite
dealing
state
with.
controlled, but the laws are still very much not backwards, but just outdated. Just very much outdated. Still a lot of dry counties. Beer and wine are years ahead of where spirits are in the state, so they can ship direct to consumer. We can't. Just other little minor things that make it tough to grow as distillers in the state, but there's more and more coming that's kind of helping push that along.
Starting to see a lot of states starting to repeal those old prohibition laws. And it's like, come on, y'all hurry up. Hurry up and repeal those laws, man. Let us make things a little bit easier. So we got a question from Lisa Day. She wants to know, what's the story with your gin? Like, how do you do it? How did you first decide that you want to make gin?
Yeah. So the gin story isn't really a story. It was always part of the plan. It just kind of got delayed. It was always going to be a vodka, gin immediately, and bourbon later. But the gin got delayed again with the popular vodka. Things kind of took a backseat to that until we filled the immediate demand. But the more kind of story and important thing about our gin is kind of the heritage and the story behind its name. It's called Tall Cotton Gin. And it gets its name from just an old saying from both my parents. Their grandparents used to say, things are going good, you're standing in tall cotton. And even further than that, the way that we're even able to do what we're doing is from my great grandfather purchasing our farm out of sharecropping in 1949. In doing so, he sold his cotton to a different landowner, got what that cotton was worth, but also did moonshine on the side to pay for that land. So that's that heritage coming in. But once he purchased that land out of sharecropping, never did moonshine again, never touched it. It kind of just was never talked about again. So kind of the Tall Cotton name kind of ties back in that heritage and history. The people that are sacrificed and did the brave things to be able to do what we do now.
What a great way to carry it on through your hard work now and what you've established, and and maybe this is something that your great grandkids are still doing later on down the line, and they're talking about you. So congratulations,
one day I'll be
man.
that great grandfather, won't I?
Hopefully we all are. Great. So
except for Scott, he's got a face only a mother could love.
That's right.
I know that. I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling. Like when you live this way your whole life, it just doesn't bother you anymore.
Yep.
You're just used to it. So
that's right.
That's how it is. But
so what's your guys' favorite thing to drink?
That we make or to drink in general?
No, just to drink in general, then make, I guess.
Depends. I like a light or something when it's hot out, like a vodka or something. In the winter, I'll drink a bourbon.
Okay.
So it just depends.
Now, what kind of bourbon are you talking? Like a wheated bourbon or?
Different one. I like to try different things, so it just depends. What I run across, I've got different things people have suggested along the way, and I'll try something and like, okay, that's good. I'll drink it. Probably a go-to. Maker's Mark's good. It's a wheated. And then I don't know. Just to keep around, probably a Bullet or something. Just if I want something quick. Nothing crazy. So,
what about you, Scott or Thomas?
I'm trying to think. These days, I've been trying to get more into gin cocktails, so I've been playing around with that.
Man, I never. So, were we there with Tom Spizak, or did he just leave when we went down there to film? Do you guys remember?
I don't think he was there when we were there.
Okay. Speaking of that, because I went over to his house. He lives right here. I don't know, about 40 minutes from me, and he ran a vodka tower, and he was showing me how the deflager and all that shit worked. And but he had a gin basket on.
Wasn't that sugar wash? Wasn't that a sugar wash?
Yes.
I mean, interrupt you.
Yes.
I just figured that was prone to the story.
Believe it, imagine that, me being around the sugar, right?
Damn right.
But no, it was really cool, man, because I've never messed with gin or anything like that. And he had a bunch of all these little botanicals in this little bowl with a little, you know what I mean? And it was just cool as shit. But man, it's amazing how, or the flavor that comes through with that.
I've tried some people tried to do too much with gin. It's like it's too complex. They got all this other stuff in there, and it's like it gets to the point where it's like you're trying to figure out what you're drinking.
Yeah. Now, Thomas, is your guys' for your gin is your base spirit the sweet potatoes and corn, or is it just a sugar
it's a corn and wheat blend. Corn and wheat blend. Sorry, that's what the base for that one is. And I really like that blend because it does make it a little bit more airy on the mouth. So it's not so like the sweet potato base. When I tried it, was a little bit too much on the mouthfeel and kind of made it a heavier. I wanted a more light, airy gin. So that's kind of why I lean towards the wheat instead of sweet potatoes.
You get any of that dryness from the wheat on it?
A little bit, but not too much.
That's what I like. When it's wheat, I'm always like, heavy wheat. Give me that heavy wheat. I want it so heavy like a dry wine. And so I like wheated stuff, man. That's why I'm always like, how dry is it? To make you want more, to make you want to keep drinking it. So that's always, my how is it? When you say it's real light,
Yeah, I'd say it's light and very well balanced. Anyone that lives outside of the few states that can't be shipped, I would say check it out on Reserve Bar and order a bottle and check it out.
I'm gonna have to get on there and see if I can order a bottle.
There are certain states that I'm just like Alabama. I don't think Ohio's on that list. Mississippi.
I would imagine not.
Yeah, Georgia.
Ohio ain't on no list except for the list of don't move here.
So Alan Bishop's apple brandy. I went to the local and I was like, hey, do you have this? And they're like, no, we can order it. I'm like, okay, well, we ordered it. They never fucking ordered it. So I had to go over to Indiana. Well, there was a whole other story. I actually went to Maggie Valley, then left Maggie, and then went there one time and got some. But 3.5 hours out of the way, though, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Oh, shit. But so, Scott, I know you talked about some flavors that you're thinking about coming out with. Just talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I've kind of worked on coming up with my flavor and stuff is so much easier to post flavor everything. I mean, you're not going to get the flavors you want distilling it, truly. And so I've figured out how to make my own flavors to where I can replicate it pretty easily every time. And that's been the cool thing for me, because I've got a lot of people that like it, and your wife, for example. So first thing she sees me, what's peanut butter?
It's the first thing I asked, So when you make these flavors, are they all the same proof? Or is it like, man, this flavor tastes better at this proof?
I try to make them all the same proof. I try to get them as close to 70 as possible.
It's still got a little kick to it. A lot of times you see them flavors are a little lower.
Yeah.
And here's what I've kind of figured out as I've made my flavors. Because after being on the show, and you guys can attest to this, people come up all the time. Here, man, try this. This is stuff I made, and I've tried some stuff that's been pretty good, and I've tried some really bad stuff along the way. But the first thing I always ask them, because they're like, man, this is 120 proof. Well, whatever flavor it is. I'm like, well, does your wife or girlfriend like it? Well, no. I'm like, well, then I don't really want to try it then, because if they like it, then it's going to be good. It's going to sell.
Your market.
That's right.
That's your market, because if she likes it, he's going to buy it.
Yep.
That's what I found out down the road. But I want something. I like trying to put stuff together that everybody's going to like and enjoy. I don't want it to just be geared to one group. I want everybody to be able to enjoy it and like it. I mean, I know everybody's not going to like everything, and that's fine, but I want it to be, try to make it to where if you want to drink it straight over ice, you can drink it straight over ice. If you want to mix it with something, you can mix it with something. So that's my philosophy, is I'm putting flavors together and coming up with stuff. And I've got people that's had mine. This is kind of annoying to me, and I know that's the way things are, but I've had a couple places that are distilleries, and people at those distilleries have tried my stuff, and then the next thing I know, they're coming out with the flavor that they tried from me.
It's definitely a very copycat
Yes.
thing. Like alcohol is a very copycat. If you come out with a new flavor, somebody's going to take it, and you come out with new ideas, somebody's going to adopt it. Yep. I could see. You're like, man, what the hell, man? Hey, come on.
So I'm hoping I can get mine rolling soon, so that I put a stop to some of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, but at the same time, if you make yours and it's way better than theirs, that's that in itself. It's known. You're like, people talk. Like, oh, you got to get that one. I like that one much better.
Yeah.
Like I like a certain banana pudding sipping cream better than a different one.
Right.
And it's just like that's just the way it is. It doesn't matter who makes it. I like that one better. I don't care who makes it. And then you talk about it.
Well, like you go to Gatlinburg and you have all these distilleries. There may be like one or two that only do clear spirits, or just it's a market. But like Thomas, they know the market they're playing to.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that flavored shit. It definitely is a big. Well, and you go from like when I met you. You're doing like fresh fruit shit where you cook it down and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm more familiar with the artificial shit. That's the cool thing about all that is you have two different people kind of do it with the same goal, but doing it two different ways.
Right.
That is a cool part about it.
But different stills and shit. I mean, Thomas, that's what I meant to ask. Do you rerun your spirits, or do you just run it all through one time through the plates, and then call it done, or do you do stripping run, reruns?
I do a stripping run. So strip it first, then it gets ran one more time through all the
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, I think he froze. He'll be back. It's, you've been putting that phone to work. Yeah, yes, sir.
There he is.
I'm back. But yeah,
when you do your stripping run, do you strip it through the plates, or do you just run it straight from the pot to the condenser and then run it through your plates during your spirit run?
Yeah, pot straight to condenser, stripping run, then go through the plate during the spirit.
Let's say that's what I'm learning that's what a lot of distilleries do. From especially talking to Sean when he did his run and how they did it, and so.
Yeah, I think I played around with a few different ways, and that was the way that made the most sense as far as efficiency was, and time, and just taste and everything.
Yeah. Try not to strip too much your flavor out. Understandable.
Yeah.
Do you notice your cuts being much different on your spirit run? Like, are they easier to make, or they come in at a higher proof? So
they are
difficult, or what's your?
No, I mean, for me, I feel like it's always, ever since I've gotten this kind of way of doing it down, it's been very easy to make those cuts. Was very easy to teach my brother how to make those cuts, and he's not even science minded like I am. So if I could teach him that very quickly, then that tells me that those cuts are relatively easy to make.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely a higher proof for those heads for sure. Freddie, I write my recipes down. That is for sure.
Yeah, just not to share with people.
Oh yeah, no, they are for mine and my family's eyes only. But yeah, they're all written down in a bunch. I think I'm on notebook number 5 right now.
I don't write anything down. It all stays up here. As long as it's not a name,
Larry.
I'll remember it. So as long as it's not a name, I'll put a name to it. I'm good. I'll remember everything. Drive Sean crazy. He'll be like, John. I'll be like, who? He's like, bro, we was just talking about him an hour ago. I'm like, well, I forgot which one, man. And he'll be like, it's so and so. I'm like, just lead with that, man. Tell me who it is, who we're speaking about, and then I'll know. You just can't use names.
Yeah.
Accept it, Sean. Accept it.
No, that's me. I will
do what I
ask for your
can.
name and forget to listen. So yeah, I get it. Bad.
For sure.
Well, it's I think we've had everybody on here long enough.
Sean's
Oh,
taking
man, I
us
sure
out.
appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys,
thank
Oh,
you.
no.
you
I
guys
know it
got,
took a long time.
got a good quick story before we leave that you'd like to tell? You know, something hilarious. You know, me and Sean's are always I destroy shit, and he's late, and so you know, I know you had the you know, Scott had the spider in the arm about killed him. You have any mishaps along the way that you look back and it's just like, man, I'm glad I can laugh about that now.
I have a pair of shoes that are stained bright orange because I spilled some sweet potato mash all over the place
Nice.
and tried to shut off the valve that was leaking. Fell. So yeah, just
Any chance you had video cameers in there when it happened?
Yeah, we want a video of that.
I deleted
Made a
them
mash,
immediately.
Immediately, you want to be, you're like, hey, I've still got sweet potato all over me. I don't care. I'm going up and I'm deleting that video so nobody sees it. So
Immediately. And there is nothing worse than seeing just a pool of bright orange on the floor.
I don't know, man. Orange is pretty good color.
yeah,
Go
shoes,
ball.
you know. Like, I'm the opposite. Like I have cameras outside and I'll fall in the snow or something. I get the old lady and we go watch it 100 times, looping it. Like, look, I fell right here. Look at that's hilarious.
I'm sure y'all saw the video of you know, I live on a houseboat, but my neighbor had a leak in her boat. So my buddy had been in there working on it, and he had left and everything. And she called me a couple days later, said, "Hey, can you check my camera on my boat? She has an outdoor security camera, and one inside." She goes, "Can you check my cameras? I think the batteries are dead." So I walk up, check the one on the outside, change the batteries. So I'm going to walk in and check the one on the inside. So I'm looking at the camera to see if the light blinks on when it's motion sensitive, right? So I'm looking at it and I'm walking towards it. Next thing I know, straight down 4 feet in the hatch, he left the hatch door open. And she got it on the video. She called me 2 minutes later. She's like, "Are you okay? I just saw you fall." And I was like, "I think I am." But yeah, it's like I come in, you see me walking, and all of a sudden I disappear straight down 4 feet. So just check your hatches if you get on the boat before you start walking down through there.
It looked like Wile E. Coyote falling in
Yeah,
a manhole.
it was.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I appreciate that outro, Scott, man.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having both of y'all, man. It was a pleasure to meet you, Thomas. It was awesome to talk to you again, Scott. You know, I always enjoy seeing you. I saw you at the release. It was a good time.
Heck yeah.
So, we appreciate everybody watching. This Wednesday, me and Sean are going to invade America and Whiskey, their podcast. They're based out of Springfield. So me and Sean are going to go. We're going to show up with some jars of liquor. We're going to get them drunk. We're going to talk a little bit of Shine. So Wednesday at 7:30, check out America and Whiskey, Facebook, YouTube, and a podcast. I'll talk Shine into making a video for it because he's good at that part. And so we'll be there Wednesday. Check us out. We're going to have a good time. Yep, America and whiskey. That's exactly it.
Got it.
We're looking forward to that. We're going to show up with some jars. We're just going to shoot the shit, man, and we're going to have a good time. So we'll see y'all Wednesday. And again, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Thomas.
Yep.
It was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for helping me give Sean a lot of shit. He deserves it.
Always.
Keep his ass humble. Stay humble, Sean. So we love all y'all, man. We appreciate you listening. Everybody have a good night. We'll see y'all on Wednesday, and then we'll be back here next week, 9 o'clock. Everybody shine on.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Shine on.
Thank you.